What's going on? It's your boy DameSmiff, and this evening we're going to have a concert without sound, and we're going to be watching a Tiny Desk concert with a pretty unusual guest. And this is Gwar. And so, if you like content like this, make sure you hit that like button so that way more people can find videos like this, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can see more videos that I make as well as the latest ones. So, Gwar, I've never heard of this band. I've never seen their performances. This is going to be a first for me. But essentially, from the pictures I've seen, they are a band that are intergalactic monsters, and they play, I want to say, rock and a little bit of blues. It's pretty upbeat, but I, again, never heard of them. This is going to be my first experience with them, everything. And they are at the Tiny Desk concert, which is probably not going to be like the fullest expression of their music because Tiny Desk is a little bit more intimate. So they might not have all the equipment as far as amps and pedals and, things like that. But we do get to see a lot of their personality and what makes them and how everything is supposed to, come together. So let's take a look at Gwar. Yes, Gwar. And let's check them out and see how they do. And so we're going to look at this from the perspective of a musician watching musicians. And when I'm going to break this down from the sense of like what I see, what I notice, what I like, and what I may want to change or, what I think is cool and awesome about them. But I'm looking at this as a musician. So all the, shocking looks and sights and things like that, I can see through it in the sense of like, I know what it is and why it works and why it's cool. But that was kind of why I picked it. This is the kind of musicianship I don't see a lot of, where like people really go in and really believe and give us true and authentic artistry. We don't see this a lot on the mainstream. So this is actually awesome. So let's check it out. So the lead singer, I wish I knew their names going into this, but again, I just wanted to react to this in real time. But the lead singer, it looks like he's just, introducing himself and emceeing. Wow, look at them. And another thing too, and the only other time I've seen this, as far as a mainstream band trying to pull this off, was Slipknot. It's the only other band I've ever seen do it like this, where the outfits and the costumes were so crazy. Like, that's why you're here. And then you probably stay for the music. But this is actually pretty cool. They have very expensive equipment and guitars. Like, don't sleep. Like, this looks like very, very, very expensive guitars. But the key thing I want to notice here is that these outfits, along with the instruments, they all mean something, and they have to mean something. So even like if you look at like his helmet, maybe the fact that he has like shorts or a kilt on and stuff like that, like all of that matters because they're trying to really represent either a certain group, a certain culture, or a certain time, or just a mix up, a mashup of certain things. And it only really works is because they're intentional about it. Because let's say they had this same setup, but this guy had a Lakers jersey. It would just look weird. It would just look out of place. So they have to be, very thoughtful and intentional. As much as it may be, different to me and shocking to me, I can see that they are very intentional with what they want to bring to the stage. And I actually don't know who this is, but this is again all making this very stimulating for the audience. Like, you can't take your eyes off of this and you're not going to be able to look away. Now, the next thing that you have to worry about is the musicianship. Okay, bro is getting it. I just started learning guitar, and I think one of the things I noticed is that if you can get the pinky to really get, active on the guitar, you got a good foundation. But this guy here, it looks like he's starting off with like a blues scale. I can't tell, but I'm looking at like the rhythms he's playing at, and it looks like he's whipping some kind of riff from blues. The drummer looks completely naked, which again, going back to the outfits, it's probably because it's comfortable. Like, if you're gonna be playing crazy drums, why not look crazy? And if you pay really close attention, there's a little bit of acting here, but he's listening very intently to what the guitar player is playing. And they're already in the show, and you can tell he, counting and everything. They're in the show. It's already going, and like you can't really deviate. So they're on point. They're very much on point. Like he went right in. There was no taps or anything. So the guitar player starts it off. They're doing hits. They're looking around, and I think they're communicating as well. Drummer is looking. Okay, yeah. The guitar players didn't need to look. They pretty much followed the drummer by sound. But yeah, they're in sync. They're going. They're grooving. The train has begun. It's left the station. We out of here. These outfits are insane. But I think the cool thing about what we're looking at is that it's chaos, but it's controlled chaos. Like if I was like a 9-year-old, this would look terrifying. But this is actually really cool because you can understand that it's intentional and they're thinking. And another thing, we noticed this with Joe, the R&B singer, on his show. Make sure you check that video out where we covered that performance. But if you notice, the guitar players, they also have mics. So I wonder if that's a standard for this band. If like, if you're going to play an instrument, you're going to have to be able to sing, because it could be a thing where, maybe they can all maneuver around the band and play different roles, or maybe that's just how the sound works the best. We need background singers, and we're not about to, again, a 5-man, 6-man band. Perfect, especially if you can get the sound you want. But I think that's really cool that you can get instrumentalists that are willing to sing or can sing and can do it at a level that's competitive to other singers, because some background singers, they just be lazy. So if these guys can kill it, I think that's really good too, because take the costumes off, put whatever you want on them, they still gonna be banger musicians. So I guess the next thing we can look into, because there's not really a lot as far as like stage setup, because remember, this is NPR and it's very minimalistic, very intimate. We can look at their equipment, but I kind of want to show how their cohesiveness works. Like they still function like a band. Like if you've ever seen like From Dusk Till Dawn, that's what this makes me feel like just crazy monsters sitting on stage playing. They're in their own world, in the sense that, like I said, once that train left the station, you kind of can't stop it. Like they're grooving, and I wish we could hear what he's saying, but the guitar players, the bass player right here, everybody is in sync with each other. They're not even looking at each other. You can tell there's like a lot of chemistry here where now they can actually like act out their performance. And the singing is always going to be elevating to instrumentalists, because they're able to kind of allow the lead singer to do a lot more. Whereas when we watched the Nelly video, Nelly was pretty sure singing every single word on stage, and it's just him and a hype man. Now that you have 3 other singers, you can do a lot more as far as harmonizing. You can do a lot more as far as ad-libbing and improvisation as well, because we've had instances and even orchestras where you don't naturally sing, but maybe you do like a scream or just yell. Like there's a lot of different sound effects humans can make that, especially with what these guys are wearing, they probably do tap into some screaming and stuff like that. But yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. Now, I guess you can probably, I can't really guess what they might be playing. I don't know, because it could be more rock center, it could be blues. I'm not sure. It could be darker. It could be brighter. I'm not too sure. But as far as their energy, drummer back here taking a breath. As far as their energy, it looks like it's more hype, like maybe more like line dancing and very hype music. So let's see what they're getting into next. And it seems too also more like a celebration more than a performance. Like how the Joe performance felt more like an actual performance, where like they kind of like, all right, we have a full hour we're about to go through. It seems like these guys just kind of took over your house and they're just about to just groove in your kitchen. There's nothing you can do. I think that's what this feels like. And it's only because the lead singer seems to kind of be emceeing along with performing as well. And then having the entire band work with you is also great. So when we're thinking about chemistry and stuff like that, he's kind of functioning similar to a church band, where a church band, and I would say um, some jazz bands kind of function like this, where you would have the lead singer or MC kind of like direct. Funk bands are a good one. James Brown did this a lot, where they may not have done it yet, but where they kind of the band just sits in a groove and they just keep a 8 count just looping over and over again while the lead singer is able to monologue to the audience and then eventually signal them into the next part of the song. But I'm not sure if that's what they're doing here. It just feels like that, and that makes the performance feel more like a get together than like how we saw Grandmaster Flash do his 50th anniversary performance, where it seemed like people were really analyzing what he was doing. This seems more like, no, you guys can join in, sing. This is crazy. We're all weird. Nobody cares. Let's rock out. Now, when we talk about rap shows, vocalists a lot of times, and I always point out that there's not many musicians on the stage and how much low, uh, I guess you can say, effort it is to not need musicians. This guy just ripped a solo up, and mind you, if he didn't practice, it would not have been worth it. That's the key thing about having musicians. So you could have paid him top dollar. If he chose not to practice, it would have been a waste of money. So there's a lot of balancing that has to happen when it comes to the trust of a musician. Like it's almost like contracting work for real estate, not necessarily like a service. And what I mean by that is you can hire a guitar player. He can attend all the rehearsals. He can attend all the shows. But if he's not doing the soft work of like making sure his instrument is maintained, making sure he's healthy, hitting the gym, eating good food, healthy hands, healthy mind, so he can perform right. If he's not doing these things, it doesn't matter that he's attending all the shows. It doesn't matter that he's showing up, and it doesn't matter that he's cool, because we still need you to, perform. It's like a car with no maintenance. That's all it really comes down to. So now the performance is elevated because, you have people like him who can stand alone alongside 4 other beasts that can probably also kill it on their own instrument. Now, another thing we can also note too, that looking at these beards and some of their builds, these guys got to be like mid 30s and up, maybe 40s and 50s. So if you think, being a rock star is a young man's game, I want you to look at Gwar. Take a good look at him. He's your boys. So they are out here killing the game, and they're doing it really well, and it looks like with really good musicianship. Like they're not playing around. Like as much as we can try and nitpick how they look and they're everything like that, these guys are killing the game. They're in sync. I again wish we could hear them because I'm sure their singing is really well. And I like how there's a lot of focus on, at least because of this intimate setting, there is a lot of focus on the musicianship. Like these guys look like, all right, let's run through these songs real quick and make sure they sound good. That's what this feels like. Whereas some bands, they'll just jam and just play anything. These guys kind of look like, oh no, we could play these songs in our sleep. Like we play these things all day long. Let's fast forward a little bit. I want to get towards an area where we can kind of see more solos. I want to see more solos. I think I'm going too far. Unless I think he's the only one that gets the solo. He may be the lead guitarist. And then we have a rhythm guitarist, and then a bassist and vocalist and drummer. I think that's what we're looking at. But that then speaks volumes to, the leverage that he has as a musician. Like he's got to do it. He's got to be the guy. Like, yeah, the lead singer is putting in work, but he got to put in work too, man. And it's one of those things that if you're not comfortable doing solos, you have to get comfortable doing solos. If you're going to be a guitar player, if you're going to be a singer, if you're going to do things like that, like you can chill out if you're going to just stamp yourself as a rhythm player, but I'm sure he can solo too. But if you're just going to say, I play rhythm, that's fine. But eventually you will have to solo. And I think that comes from just the opportunity, because people were going to look at, even like a drummer, you can't play one tempo, you can't play one style. Like you're going to have to learn pretty much everything and be versatile in the tools. This guy on the NPR show for Gwar is holding it down big time, especially if he is, doing most of the solos. But I think I think for the most part, this is the best breakdown I can give you, because again, I don't know much about this band as far as the musicality behind what they're playing. I don't know if like they're big on playing dissonance. I don't know if they're more upbeat, more downbeat, if they prefer major keys, minor keys, what kind of modes do they play in? Do they prefer scales? Do they prefer rhythms? Do they prefer syncopation? I don't know none of that because we're not listening to anything. But from everything that we see, especially in such a intimate and smaller version of what I'm sure is probably a huge, massive production just based on everything they brought here, I think this is pretty much what we can get from this. These guys are killing it. I want to see more. I'm definitely going to look up some more. They had some really good guitar work. I got to listen to like a peek of it, like the first 10 seconds. Bro, and the guitar is sick. But this is Gwar. Much love to Gwar. I'm going to have to check you guys out and see what you guys are all about. But much love to them. And make sure if you guys like videos like this, you make sure you let me know in the comments and I'll make more. And I want to see you guys again. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.